yeah, so like Rahul said, we used to be colleagues at Pinterest, and Pinterest was my first stop after I graduated. So literally my first job, getting out of college, try to figure things out. Uh, by now, I've tried many different things. I'm just really trying to find something that makes me passionate and I really want to work on. And I'm gonna go through my career journey and hopefully provide all of you guys with some inspiration on what's best for you too. So nothing is right or wrong. It's just experience that you can learn and see whether it might be a good choice for you too. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I'm gonna go ahead and start. For the initial, like around 20 minutes, it will be presentation style. I'm gonna go over my past experiences, but then we'll have enough opportunity to discuss and answer any questions that you have. All right. So I have two monitors, so I might not be facing the screen when I present, but then later I will be facing you guys. So don't feel weird if I face the other way. All right. So yeah, my career really started at Pinterest. So I started as a new grad, and then worked my way all the way till the end, become a tech lead. So I stayed there for around 4 years. By the time I joined Pinterest, it's a bit less than 200 people. By the time I left, it's if I remember correctly, around 1,400 people. So the company feels a lot more mature. And when I was at Pinterest, I was the early member on their ads team. So when we were just starting to figure out how to actually make money, we shouldn't just be a company that has users only. We also need to generate revenue. So since I have a data background, I was on the measurement side of things to really track how the users are using the contents organically, and then feed those data back to the potential advertisers and try to turn them into advertisers, not just putting content organically, but also spend money promoting their content. So that was my main job when I was at Pinterest. And then after the Pinterest had hit certain scale, if I remember correctly, we made something like $100 million a year, which is a big deal back then. But now it feels so minimal. Now Pinterest is such a large company. And then I moved on. I'm like, oh, I need to find something smaller again, because that is a smaller environment, more like a startup feel is something that I really, really like, really enjoyed. So I found another company called Checker. So Checker is a YC company. And by the time they have 20 engineers, and they're really just starting to look into building their own data warehouse infrastructure. So because of my data background, I got hired as the first data hire to really create the data warehouse and the infrastructure there. So it was a great experience, and the company also grew significantly. By the time I left, I remember we have more than 100 product people, just like a much larger company. I stayed there for around 3 years. And then there's a good opportunity that hits me. The product manager I worked with by the time told me that he actually got a YC interview, and whether we want to work together to start a company together. YC has always been something that's just like heard in the news, and something that's just so fancy and really looking forward to. And all of a sudden, I have this opportunity to do it myself. I'm like, of course, I want to give that a try. So we hacked together a product, and then went through the YC interview, and magically actually got accepted. So that was the third step, and I started a company under the YC program. And the company, the product that we created was a tool for the customer success people to record their meetings, making sure they have good record keeping, share with the team. It's more like a knowledge sharing tool among customer success people. Yeah, and then we didn't really hit a good enough product market fit. So after 2 years trying, we ended up saying that hey, maybe this is a good stopping point. We need to really rethink what we should do next. So we closed the company and move on from there. So I got another job at Amplitude. Maybe some of you guys have heard of it. Is a data company for tracking user metrics. So I was a engineering manager there, managed their core engineering team. So a lot of creating API and feeding data into the to the front end and present in a very user-friendly way to understand user metrics. And even though I really enjoy the work environment, they're very talented people. The company is founded by MIT founders, so a lot of the company are from MIT, super talented engineers, and yeah, it just really had a great experience. Towards the very end, I still feel like I want to start something on my own. So I have actually never really given up on that. So while I work as an engineering manager there, whenever I had time, I still like to absorb new information, try little things here and there, do some side projects. This is always something that I really enjoyed. And one of the side projects actually got some tractions. So it is something that I'm working on now. It is called Sidr Tax. So it is actually a tax software for businesses to handle sales tax. And that's kind of like how the entire journey I went through. And this is what I'm currently working on. It's a bootstrap company called Sidr Tax for e-commerce companies for their sales tax. Yeah, so this is my company right now. We do end-to-end sales tax management, just a lot of integration with the government, handling the compliance side of things for e-commerce businesses. Yeah, it's been going pretty well since then. We are one of the top ranked applications on Shopify. So our product is a Shopify app. So things has been going well since then. We're riding the e-commerce wave, growing with Shopify, and yeah, it's just has been, in my opinion, a great decision that I made to really work on something on my own. Yeah. So that's roughly my career journey, and there are three things that mattered a lot in terms of defining what I'm currently working on and what I think is best for myself. And those are also the things that I thought about a lot. Really, there's no right or wrong. It's just whether it's the good fit for you. So the first thing is, do you want to climb the career ladder or starting your own business? There's a huge difference between them. And the second one is, if you want to start a business, do you want to be a venture-backed business or a bootstrap business? And the third is, do you want to build something that's flashy and fun, or do you want to build something boring but it's super useful for someone? So I'm gonna dive into each single bullet point of them, and hopefully you can get something away from my experience too. So the first one is, do you want to climb the career ladder? So I've been working at 3 different companies. I would say every one of those companies are very well run, respected, have great talent. So when I'm working there, I always feel like I have so much support from the company directly within the team, from my manager. They point me at the clear path how I should grow. What I should be working on is the most impactful. Just a lot of guidance and help from the company. So I would say in terms of getting the focus, it is just so much easier because the company is there to help you focus on things that matters the most. And there are just so many different things that you don't need to worry about, like filing your own taxes for your own businesses. Like you never need to worry about that. And just being able to focus on things that matters a lot give you a sense of achievement because you're always focusing on one thing and make it really, really good. It helps you to become the domain expert you're working on things you're working on. And also, you also get to join Taro and work with a lot of peers here, and a lot of people are working on similar goals, trying to achieve career success. So you really feel supported by a community like Taro. I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into that because that's something I truly miss when I start to work on my own company. Yeah. And then another option is to start your own business. Now you have so much of a freedom to define what you want to do and what's important to you. But on the other side, the freedom also can be very misleading at times because a lot of time you spend a lot of time on things, but then in the end, it might not be something that's as meaningful for a business. So you just feel like so many things happening at the same time. You feel like you're busy all the time, but a lot of them are actually wasted efforts. So yeah, just being able to really be very self-disciplined, focus on things that truly matters is so important when you start your own business. That is very different from being supported by a company working on the career path that's defined by a company. Yeah.
Can I
So
one
yeah.
quick question here, Tongbo, if that's okay. For the career ladder, you spent time at, I would call them like small, medium-sized companies.
Yeah.
You didn't do like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, big
No.
tech. I wonder if was that a deliberate choice to target smaller companies where you might have had more growth, more autonomy? And if you could do it again, do you think that's better preparation to do your own company versus big tech?
Yeah, so I would say personally I enjoy working at a smaller company because I'm really drawn by the potential of the company itself growing a lot larger and have a bigger ownership of things that I work on. So a lot of the projects that I work on grow from just like 2, 3 people to a much larger team. And as you grow, you get to see so much stuff. For example, when I was at Pinterest, I was the early member on the S team. When by the time I leave, I know pretty much everything in the entire ad system. And if you're joining Google, for example, I don't think there's any way you get to know every single piece of Google's ad system because it's just so complicated. Yeah, so although the system itself is so much simpler compared to, say, for example, Google's or Facebook's ad system, but I have just such a good understanding of what are the necessary piece of it. It really prepares me for the next stage of my career. Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good question. So let's move on. So the next question is, if you want to start a company, do you want to be venture backed or do you want to bootstrap? So venture back for the longest time feels like the standard way, the only way to do things. And you have such a good support system in the Silicon Valley, where I live, to create a venture back company. So many good VCs writing great articles about how to do it this way. And when you start a company, venture back is the standard way to go. And if you can get investment, you can actually get a great community support. Your investors will help you to even potentially find customers and help you find partnerships. So it does make things a lot easier. And with money, you actually get to hire potentially the best talent you can get. So those are all the things that really kickstart your business to make the early growth a lot easier. But of course, there's also a downside from it. Once you get money, you're committed to you need to work with investors' expectation. So you need to have certain growth goals that you need to hit like every year or so. So that is the pros and cons you get with a venture-backed company. There's usually a predetermined path of how much growth or revenue target you should get within a certain time frame. And if you don't hit that, it's very hard to go to the next stage, to the next round. And if you're not making money and you're not profitable, you're on the limited time frame to achieve that. So your runway is limited by the amount of funding you have. So those are the things that makes things potentially harder. Even though you get more money and it's easier to grow if you're using the money the right way. So the other approach is bootstrapped. So nowadays there is a bigger bootstrapping community especially on X. A lot of people are talking about how to start a company on their own. There's also a lot of benefit of doing so because you can manage your own time, and there's no one that's just like keep on telling you, hey, you need to get to a certain goal at a certain time. If you want to grow slower, you can if you want to. And if you want to take half of your time off to do your own stuff, the other half of the time to work on your startup, you also can. And another benefit is that if you are actually making money from your company, you can actually take money out of the company as income if you want to. No one is going to stop you from doing that. But if you are a venture-backed company, a lot of the money in the bank account is actually from the investor. You will not be able to take more than necessary from your company's bank account. So yeah, those are the key differences between the two. The last one I want to talk about is what do you want to build? A lot of people like to build very trendy and very cool stuff, especially with the new trend of AI. I actually come from a machine learning background. I know like just how good it is now, have such a great community support for building AI tooling, and the new advancement of new technologies coming almost every day now, being able to build something new that cannot be solved in the past. Those are amazing. Myself being in San Francisco is kind of like the center of universe for a lot of the AI stuff going on at the moment, and just so many events every day about AI. To be honest, I'm a little bit jealous because I'm not working on an AI startup, so I don't go there a lot. But the fact that there's just so many new ways to make friends, to learn about new trends, and potentially spot new business ideas, that's amazing. So that's a good side. But at the same time, whatever you work on, probably there are 10, 20 different very smart people that's working on the same thing. Are you going to be the best one that's solving the same problem? That can be very challenging. So yes, you have a good community, but at the same time, you are going to be facing potentially much tougher competition when you're working on something trendy and a lot of smart people want to work on. And then there's building boring things, which is actually what I'm working on right now. Tax is, I mean, maybe the least interesting thing that a lot of people can think of. But it's very necessary. To run a business without handling tax properly, you actually cannot run it. The government will ask you to stop doing whatever you're doing to figure out the tax strategy first. So yeah, it's very necessary, and I get to feel it firsthand. Whenever I sell to the potential customer, it's never a hard sell. I only need to prove that to solve the tax problem, we are the best one at doing so. I never need to teach someone that you actually need to pay tax for your business. So that makes the selling part just a whole lot easier, which I really appreciate. And then I actually get to spend more time on building a good operations process and actually creating a good product. So to this day, I almost spend no time on actual marketing. The marketing side itself is very minimal. So those are the things that I got from building a boring product, but at the same time, it just gives me a lot of time to actually tinker my own product, which is something I truly enjoy because I have always been a very product driven engineer in the past too. So being able to spend time building product is something I just truly enjoy the entire time. So yeah, that is just roughly about building a boring product. And at the end, I just want to say that there's really no right or wrong for all of those questions that I was talking about. They're just whether this particular path you're taking is the best for you at your current life stage, whether it gives you enough time to do stuff that you like, gives you enough support to help you achieve success. Choose your own path. And the picture on the right is actually the Shopify conference that I just went to 2 weeks ago in Toronto. After a 5-year hiatus, they finally regathered all the Shopify developers together It's just a great community, more than 1,000 developers and agencies getting together. And I, for the first time after I started this company, get to see who else is actually doing similar things. I feel like I've been building under a cave for a while, because in San Francisco there's just not that many people that's like me building a bootstrap product. So yeah, getting to see similar people for the first time is just really amazing. So yeah, that is roughly about my journey and things that truly matters to me. And uh, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer, and also happy to chat about anything that's relevant to what I just said.
That was pretty much exactly 20 minutes. I am very impressed, Tongbo. Nice
Oh,
job.
thank you.
I have a few quick questions, and
Yeah.
then I would love for folks in the audience as well to just raise their hand and we can go through that queue. As much as you're able to share publicly, whatever you want, can you give us a sense of the scale of Sidr Tax, like revenue, number of employees, how many customers you have, whatever you can share, just to give people a sense of that?
Yeah, so right now we have around 1,000 Shopify merchants using our tool. We're still a very small team. We're a team of 2 people. I'm not gonna share the revenue number, but I would say that is more than what I was making when I was an engineer at those startups. So yeah, made it worth it for me. Even though early days, of course, I still remember the first few months that I turned on monetization for my tool, for my app. I made something like $600 a month, and I'm like, oh, how do I make sure I have enough money to actually at least pay off my mortgage? That was the things that I was worried about for a good half a year. But yeah, luckily, I'm past that already. I'm able to actually sustain myself and actually make more money than as an engineer working at a larger company now.
Amazing. And then I want to zoom in on you were leaving Amplitude. You said you had a couple projects, and then you found that there was some sort of market pull for Sidr Tax, roughly what you said. Can you talk more about what that was? Like, were you working on 2 or 3 projects and you were hoping that one of them would take off? Or was it like a deliberate effort to really focus on Sidr Tax? Like, I'm wondering if you could zoom in on the founding story.
Yeah, since I've been doing side projects for a good amount of time, just this is something I truly enjoy. So I've been very deliberate about what I should be working on. So I'm the kind of guy that's always drawn to new ideas, and I like to try new things. But the downside of that is you just always feel like you're trying things out, and a lot of them are just doesn't really pan out. So towards the end, I'm like, yes, I can still try new things, but I want to make sure I actually work on things that has a good potential. So usually the way I do things is whenever I get a new idea, I try to create a prototype within a week. I usually never spend more than a week to create an initial prototype. And for this particular tax product that I also just created over the weekend, and then I throw it onto the Shopify marketplace and see how things goes. And after a week or so, I actually see people installing my app, and of course, a lot of them just uninstall right away because there's just so many bugs in it. It was built over the weekend, but the intent,
It's like
the fact
a
that
day.
yeah, the fact that they actually install is enough for me to keep on going because the intent, the willingness to try is the most important at the early stage.
Were you working on one that was like your focus for that week or month, or did you have like multiple projects that you were working on in parallel?
Yeah, so I have another Shopify app that I created and I maintained for a couple of months. I actually still have something like 70 users, 70 businesses using it. But that one is just really not growing much. And I feel like, oh, this is time to move on to push it into a maintenance mode. So yeah, there's definitely a point where I feel like it's just I've tried enough for a project. It's just really not growing at the way I wanted to. So I should be trying something new. And of course, whenever you have an existing project, to make sure it has the minimal maintenance is very, very important. Because if you keep on maintaining something, it just like making it so much harder for you to start something new.